I do need to ask a legitimate question. Have we ever seen a team with an easier path to the finals than the Celtics, not facing Jimmy Butler, Donovan Mitchell hurt, now Halliburton's hurt? I mean, listen, it's all lined up for the best team in the league record-wise to get to the finals for the second time in 3 years.
Nothing compares to this at this point. And we'll see how that plays out when you get to the finals, and then you do have to play a formidable team if it turns out that way. So sometimes that easy path is not always the best because you get into a false sense of comfort. If I look at the Eastern Conference and I look at the depth of talent that the Boston Celtics had, I don't know that they have that same record or same standing if they were in the Western Conference. I think they took advantage of the fact that they are very deep, very talented, but in the weaker conference.
Come Thursday night, after months of regular season and playoff games, we finally get the ultimate matchup the NBA has to offer. The Celtics are going to play the Mavericks in the NBA Finals, and this is the second time this Boston team has been to the finals within the last 3 years, which is a massive accomplishment for this young core group of players and the franchise as a whole. But if you've been scrolling on your phone, on IG or Twitter or something within, let's say, the last month or so, and you came across some content covering the Celtics, if it's not the comments, it's just the post itself, ripping into Boston's final run, absolutely bombarding their postseason success with asterisks, since it's supposedly the easiest path to the finals in NBA history. Now, despite what the title says, I actually have to agree with what people are saying, but hold on a minute, okay? Because their path was easy this year. It's probably up there as one of the all-time least competitive conference titles in history. But this narrative that's being brought up also negates the efforts that this team made in order to get here in the first place. If you go all the way back to 2008, when the Celtics won their last championship with the big three of KG, Ray Allen, and Paul Pierce, not to mention their point guard, Chris Paul, this super team squad surmounted the NBA's most difficult challenge and walked away with a chip. But in the numerous seasons after, this same team just couldn't get it done. And instead of being content with being mediocre for the next half decade until these guys either retire or get traded, and then deal with bottoming out for the next half decade after that to fuel a rebuild, Danny Ainge, the Celtics GM at the time, decides,
"We do not care."
And he sends them away to basketball hell in Brooklyn. I really feel bad for these guys, man. They did not deserve this. But that proactive approach from the front office actually got them the key picks from the Nets that ended up landing the Celtics superstars Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown in back-to-back drafts in 2016 and 2017. Danny Ainge really committed mass robbery in broad daylight, and the entire NBA just let it happen, and we all got to witness it. Peak entertainment. Except if you're a Nets fan, in which case, I really am sorry, bro. I don't know what to tell you. Y'all fumbled Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, then miraculously got KD, Kyrie, and Harden a couple years later and messed that up too. I mean, the Knicks doing pretty good, and MSG is only 20 minutes away from Barclays on Google Maps, so you could easily switch up. But if you're not down to join this,
that's really true. I'll wipe my with that. Smoke some weed. We are the New York Knicks. Suck on our New York.
I heard the new Fortnite chapter was good, so maybe just play that and forget basketball exists for the next couple of years or something, I don't know. But coming back to the Celtics, Boston's revitalization in the second half of the 2010s that has persisted until now definitely wasn't an accident, especially when you look at the competence of their upper management in acquiring high-level talent, such as IT, Kyrie, Kemba, Gordon Hayward, Al Horford, in addition to good draft selections such as Marcus Smart and Avery Bradley, players who contribute to playing winning basketball. The C's have never been a team to be satisfied with just being decent in the NBA. With such a storied franchise, it really is championship or bust every single season, regardless of the circumstances. Even now, with this last offseason, they gave up fan favorite Depoy Marcus Smart and Sixth Man of the Year Malcolm Brogdon, just to bring in all-star caliber talent in Kristaps Porzingis and Drew Holiday. Boston continues to year in and year out provide their roster with the best chance of winning a title. If you look from 2017 till now, that's 8 seasons by the way, and you look at the Celtics playoff accomplishments, they've been in the conference finals 6 out of those 8 years. There's no other team that's been as consistently solid in the postseason these last couple of years than Boston. It's not like they've faced easy competition those years either. They've had to go against LeBron-led Cavaliers, the Super Team Nets, the Jimmy Butler-led Heat, and the Giannis-led Bucks multiple times. And they've been competitive for most, if not all, of those series. They faced tough roads against strong opponents for a long time in the playoffs, and I think they've persevered more times than they really should have, considering what they were going up against. This Celtics squad we're looking at in 2024 was constructed for big moments like these, and they've been slowly building towards the ultimate achievement in this league. Just looking at the 23-24 playoff numbers, Brown and Tatum are both averaging 25 plus points per game, and Derek White, probably one of the best role players in the NBA today, is right behind them with 18 and a steal and a block per game as a guard. Porzingis and Holiday have also been solid contributors on both sides of the ball. Not to mention their bench is extremely productive as well, thanks to them having been through numerous deep playoff runs together already. What I'm trying to say is that this Celtics team has faced their fair share of adversity in the years prior to get to this point. They've toughed it out more times than not when they weren't even expected to, and they've been in this exact situation before. They knew what it took to get back here. The claim that Boston made the finals just because the competition wasn't there doesn't hold, because they were always meant to make it to the top of the NBA mountain. This version of the Celtics we're seeing tear through the playoffs is the most refined, potent, and well-rounded machine in the East right now. They could have really faced anyone in the first 3 rounds, and I'm almost certain they would have still been here. Just because their opposition this time around wasn't particularly competitive or even healthy doesn't erase what they've accomplished up to this point beyond just this postseason. Not to mention they've had their own injuries too, with their 20-point per game starting center missing the entirety of the Cavs and Pacers series. They're not exempt. They've lost just two games en route to the finals. The last time they lost was 7 games ago, almost a month back. Realistically, who in their conference is stopping the Celtics squad? Whether Boston can now summit the basketball peak and beat the Mavericks is definitely still an unanswered question, but the Celtics being back in the finals should have never even been a discussion to begin with. We knew what this team was capable of. It was just a matter of when.